Hello, paper florists. Welcome back. We're in the home stretch. You've done 2/3 of your zinnia. Now we're going to finish it off by doing the leaves, then the calyx, and finishing off the stem. And look how cool that, it's kind of hard to see in the video though, but it's got a pretty complicated calyx, and we're going to have fun doing that. So let's get after it. Hello, paper florist. Thanks so much for joining me today. I do apologize for the snafu that we had where it took a few days to get the last tutorial up, but I'm going to do it now so you get to work with me. So we're going to do the calyx and the leaves and wrap the stem. So I have a piece of doublet here that's about 6 inches wide, and it's a full sheet, so it's 10 up. And the calyx of this bloom is very scalloped. Let's just see if I can draw you a picture here real quick. It's just a scrap here, but it's scalloped. So you're gonna see little, whoops, sorry, here. You're gonna see little pieces like this. So to create that, I am going to cut a piece that's probably, let's see, let's cut it about 1 inch deep. And again, it's 6 inches wide. Now there's a couple of ways that you can do those scallops. One is you can accordion fold and then cut them around. Another one is I happen to have a pair of pinking shears that are the right cut for this particular piece. So I'm just going to take this and hold it in my hand, and I'm going to cut. And I apologize, I'm shaking a little bit. As I mentioned in my previous videos, I've got allergies really bad. And sometimes it seems like the medication makes my hand shaky. So I apologize for that. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to put just the tiniest slit in here. Hope you can see that. I'll come up closer for you. Just a little snip. There we go. Between each one. And then the last one. Let's see here. There. Cut this edge off a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we're going to need probably a couple of these. And I'm going to, actually, I guess I already cut it in half. So accidentally, of course. So I've got a piece here about 3 inches with those little slits in it. And the first thing I'm going to do is decide which side I want out, and I want the greenish, the lightest green side on the outside. So I'm going to take my thumbnail and the pad of my index finger, and I'm just going to create like a little scallop there. And go all the way down. Okay. Then we're going to need some coloring, and I have a couple of blender brushes here. Use these. And one of the things about the calyx on the zinnia is it looks almost black on the edges. So I've got this dark gray. What is this called? Neutral gray, extra dark. I don't think black is really appropriate, but gray would be. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to hit the tips of this. Well, you know what? It's not as dark as I would like it to be. It'll be fine. I'm a firm believer, as you know, of use what you have. And then I'm going to come in lower, and I'm just going to add some little lighter green here. And that'll make that darker color actually show up a little more. Let's go ahead and do that again. There we go. That's starting to show better. Okay. So we're going to do that same thing with this other piece that we have. I'm going to put just a little snip in there. Oh, did I already do that? I did that the first time around, sorry. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Going to and that way when we put them on, which we're also going to do, we're going to kind of stretch them like this, and that'll make them kind of sit up and off of the bloom a little. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put this dark color. Black would probably be better. You can even use a black marker. Heck, why not, right? use what you have. Our goal is not to have you go out and buy a bunch of product every time we do a tutorial. And then by adding in this yellow to brighten it up a little, you can see that black shows up even better. So I've got this piece, and I'm going to give it a stretch this way too. Okay, so I'm going to wipe off my table because I got black everywhere, and I know we don't want that on our hands, which is inevitable. Okay, I'm going to wipe to see how much came off there, and you wouldn't think it just with a little bit that we used. Okay, so we are going to start by taking our marigold, and we want this to come up on, can you see that? Up on there, like that. So I'm going to take some glue, I'll use this one, and I'm going to put a little drop of glue right along the top here. That'll make it stand out a little bit. And then I'm going to add some here and here, and just a couple little drops everywhere. That should work. So here we go. Let's give it a shot, shall we? So I'm going to pull all these petals up because we know we're going to pull them down later. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it right up there. And I'm going to do that all the way around. And the reason we put just a little teeny snip in there is that we wanted them to come apart just a little up at the top. So we had enough here to go around once perfectly. Okay, so we have our first row on. Okay, and I'm going to just take this and I'm going to squeeze it on there like that. So you can see that. Now you could stop here if you wanted to, but that's not really how the zinnia is formed. So we're going to do another row. And I'm going to, one. I'm going to take this little bitty glue. Yep, that's right. Make sure you're putting your glue on the right side. Oh, I've done it before. And as you know, I kind of like to leave my boo-boos, my bloopers, in my videos to show you that we don't always do it, the same every time. And here we go. So we want to just make sure those are up there and tight. Now what we want to do is put this second row in so it goes in between. Can you see that? In between the ones we did in the first row. And they're a little lower. Okay. Let's see if I can show that. And I'm getting too high there again. Okay, so I'm going to come down. There we go. There. Now, again, you could stop here. But I think we need one more. So let's do it again. There we go. I'm just going to cut off a little piece. And I think we're really only going to need one, but we'd rather err on the side of having too much than not enough. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. There we go. Okay. I'm going to cut these wonky ends off. And I'm going to give it just a snip like I did before. There. I'm going to cut that little edge off as well. And do the same thing I did before. Create the little scallop. Make them come out a little bit. You want to do this you could be pretty rough with this doublet. But try not to tear it. There's always a fine line between doing it enough and tearing it. I should have done this first, but that's okay. So we're going to come in and we'll add our little dark gray. Here, just want it on the tips. There we go. That's good. Okay, and then we'll take our yellow. We'll just give it a few flicks. just to like create that contrast. Okay, do the same thing. We're going to stretch this a little bit this way. Clean up our messy desk again. I don't know if I've told you this or not, but there's two things that I keep on my table all the time, and that is baby wipes. Buy them in the big package at Costco, and alcohol. Not the kind you drink. I have found that just about any slop, overspray, everything will come off with alcohol. Some people say you have to use the high content alcohol. I just use what I see at the grocery store. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before. And by coming down just here at the base of those scallops, the scallops can still stick out. Here comes my advertisement. Don't forget, if you like the videos that the Paper Florist admins do for you, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and to any of the other artists that come in and help us on a monthly basis. Like Jerry is one that I would love to work with. So we're going to take this one and just going to put it below that, okay? And keep it down low. Okay, and I just squeeze that on there. So you can take let's try a skewer. Take a skewer and kind of have these come out. You see that? I'm just kind of grabbing it and having it come out. It's hard to see. It's hard for me to see it, so I know it's hard for you to see it. Okay, we could do another row, and since we have them, why not, right? More is more. I'm a more is more kind of girl, but you all know that already. Okay, so we're going to use a thumb and forefinger. And I'm going to use the black. Like I said, I think you could use a marker on this too. An alcohol marker, probably like a Copic or Spectrum Noir, or any of those. You know, even Arteza has them now too. So, and I love their products. I've used it a lot. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. Except, do you see what I did? I did it backwards. We want this side to be out. So I'm just going to come in and just do it again. So, like I said, I don't take out my boo-boos because, heck, we all do them. And let's just get that. So just flip it around and just do it over again. Easy enough. Okay, and we're going to come in and add the black. Okay, take a little yellow. Start over. There we go. Okay, so we've got that. And once again, we are going to clean that black off of our table because it will end up going everywhere, I promise you. Okay, so we're going to put glue on this one. Glue. And we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Glue there. Okay, and we'll get, again, we're going to kind of stretch this as we go so they stick out a little. And I'm going to start right where I left off, go down another row, and just, yeah, like that. If you pull it, these will stick out a little bit. It's okay to have those couple dots of glue there. That's perfectly all right. There. So I know this is really, really hard to see on camera, but you can see how I've got them sticking out here. And that's what we want. It's for them to kind of hang out, so to speak. Okay, and then we'll let that dry. Okay, so now we're going to wrap our stem for the first time. Then we're going to do our leaves. So let's move this out of the way. And we'll keep those colors handy because we're going to use them for our leaves as well. So I have a long piece of doublet green. It's the fern and moss, I think is what it's called. It's that green and kind of an olivey green. And I'm going to just take a strip of that. And I'm going to put dots of glue on it. We're going to just wrap this so far, just to make it kind of neat. And then we're going to add in our leaves. And I really thought long and hard about how to do these leaves because they're kind of tricky. So we are going to experiment together because I've never done it before. Oops. Okay, so we're just going to come in here right below there and we're going to start wrapping. There we go. And then just wrap it all the way down. Oops, without tearing it. If it tears, that's okay. Just pick up where you left off. Just keep going because we're going to wrap it again. Okay, and I have that Florist tape that was there earlier. We're going to wrap it one more time. Again, I got to clean off my hands. See, this is where I use alcohol because alcohol will remove like adhesive and glues and stuff. So it's perfect for what we do. All right, so we're going to do it one more time. Got the other piece here. Because the stems are pretty thick on this bloom. So we're going to thicken ours up a little bit. You could add in another wire, which I did on a few, just to make the stem thicker. But we're just going to do this way. Not make it too complicated. Okay, so we're going to come right back in. And we're going to do the same thing. And what you really want to do is make sure you're getting this transition nicely done. So everything is nice and snug. There you go. Now we can just roll it down. And when we get down to the bottom, this is a way for us to finish off our stem, is to take it and bring it down and just go right back up. All right, so it's nice and finished. Okay, so there's our marigold, and I'm going to let everything dry a little bit, and then I'm going to put these leaves down pretty, or petals down. Okay, so thanks for spending your Sunday morning with me. I think this is super fun. Let's try these leaves. Now, one of the things about the leaves on a zinnia is that, you know, they come like this. I'm a terrible artist. You think I know how to do. So you get your leaf. It comes like this. As they come together here in the middle, there's a little scallop out of it, and that kind of goes around the stem. So the stem would be down here. So there's a couple of ways to accomplish that. And we're going to try one. Okay, so I have that remainder of that piece of doublet, and I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it in half. I've got other ones to put leaves on, so I'm going to fold it in half and then fold it in half again. Okay, then I'm going to cut this in half. So let's see how long that is. That's about 2.5 inches. And see, I got ink on my hand, alcohol ink from the marker. Comes right off. I got plenty of color on there. Okay, so we're going to take this and fold it in half, and we're going to cut the edges here. You know this drill. This is just our normal chevron technique that we do all the time. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this one here. So I want these two and these two, and I have some wires here which are a little thick, so let's grab something even thinner. Here, I've got a white one. This will work. Grab my cutters, and I'm going to cut a piece. This is probably 4 or 5 inches, just to be able to put those leaves on the stem. So, and I'm going to sandwich these right in. That's why the color doesn't matter. I'm going to sandwich these right in. So I'm going to put a little bead of glue right along here. Do the same thing for the other one. Can you see that okay? Yeah. Little bead of glue. Okay. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to, this is really not long enough. I'm going to put it on that bead. And then I'm going to take my other piece and just, oops, and just line it up and bring it down. If you have a brayer works really well for sandwiching that together. So we're going to let that dry a little bit. Take the other one, do the same thing. Oops. And so we're going to create that notch. So we're going to come up here. Let's just cut the leaf shape first. And they're pretty simple leaves. Cut off the excess there. And pull those excess pieces off. Okay. Now we're going to take our scissors and we're just going to create a little notch here, a round notch. Do the same thing on the other side, a round notch. And then we're going to take that off. Maybe. There we go. That one came out way better than the other. Let's try that again. Okay, so we're going to take and we're going to create a notch here and a notch here. There we go. Okay. You can just leave that on there if you want. So that when we get this, put this on the stem, it's going to go around the stem. It'll look like it notches right around the stem. I don't know if you can see that or not, but see how it looks like it goes around the stem? That's what we're looking for. So here's my other ones. Do the same thing. Okay, do the same thing we did before. We're going to create the notch here, like that. And we're going to create another one here. There we go. And you can leave that on there. It's fine if you don't get it off. And this one's a little wonky here, so let's just trim it up a little bit. Okay, there. Okay, so it's time for a little more tape. You can use florist tape for this. I have a love-hate relationship with florist tape. I did use it on the beginning of the wrapping on these, but it's not my go-to. It's not my favorite. So we're going to do this. We got our tape here, and we're going to take those same pan pastels that we had, and we're going to add just a little color on them. And I'm going to take a little bit here on the bottom of the dark gray and make that dark there. And on the top, we'll come in with our yellow. So it's pretty simple. We're just going to lighten it up in the centers. Give it a little dimension. All we're doing here, oops, all we're doing here is just adding a little dimension. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Put a little black down here. And a little black up here. Try to bring it down the sides a little. And a little yellow in the middle, just to blend everything together. Okay. Alrighty, so I've got a piece of tape here. This, remember, the side you want to show always goes away from you. Okay, do the same thing we did before. Maybe. I clogged that one up. And you want dots of glue. This is what's going to be holding your stem on. So you really want to make sure you have a good line of glue here, especially at the top where you're going to put those leaves. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to start up here at the top. And we're going to come down. And you can decide where you want to put your leaves. I'm going to think this is a good spot. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to bend this down like this. Same thing here. Okay. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to grab it like that. There we go. And put this one directly opposite. So they almost look like they touch each other. They're one leaf, but they're two. And just put that up out of the way so we can finish wrapping. Okay, and then we can shape our leaves. And we're going to come in and we're going to bring the glue in my hands. Bring these down because we want that crown to show. I got glue on my hands. I'm trying not to do that. So there you have it. That's how we're going to do how we do the stem and the leaves. And we can't wait to see yours. So thanks so much for joining me. I'll come back and we'll just wrap it up. So there you have it. That's a wrap. I think making these zinnias was really fun. I never really thought about making zinnias before because they have those crazy centers, and I, quite frankly, was a little intimidated by it. But breaking it down to something really simple made this a super fun project. So we did centers 2 ways, and we did some really fantastic leafing that's very realistic. And we used a couple different kinds of paper, so I think it was totally a well-rounded month of paper flowers. So once again, if you enjoy the tutorials that the paper flower admins do for you, don't forget to like and subscribe in the boxes below. And once again, thanks so much for joining us on the paperflorists.org.